Hi, I'm Laura Pierce, 30 years old, a prosthetics specialist from Portland. 5 years back, an accident cost me a leg. These days, I design prosthetics for those facing similar challenges and limits for my own well-being. Folks label it toughness. I see it as restoration. Over breakfast, my father raised his fork like a conductor's wand. We've reserved a getaway to Italy, just our group of 6. You get it, don't you? His gaze stayed fixed on the plate when he mentioned it. It lingered on the scrambled eggs. My mother inclined her head. My sibling, Summer, grinned. As if she'd been rehearsing that grin for days, I responded with my standard line, sure thing. They dove straight into the itinerary, skipping me entirely. Florence, Venice, excursions through Tuscan vineyards. Nobody bothered to check if I'd join. They rarely check. That evening, my cell vibrated. $9,200 in trip expenses, all charged to my account. I skipped the phone call. Instead, I launched the finance app, hit pause, and saw the status shift to inactive. They dubbed it a vacation. I termed it pilfering with a grin. Before we continue, let me know, where are you tuning in from? I'd appreciate hearing how widely my tale has spread. It didn't begin in Italy. Stories like this seldom do. In our household, disloyalty shows up disguised as custom. 2 holiday seasons passed. I navigated 6 hours over icy roads to return home. I'd packed presents in shimmering gold wrap, ribbons flawlessly coordinated. Upon pulling up, an unfamiliar vehicle occupied the driveway. Within, my mother beamed. "Oh, sweetie, we assigned your spot to Mr. Langley. He's on his own this season. You get it, right?" That phrase once more, comprehend. It translates to stay silent as we extract from you. I stood in the kitchen to dine, steadying my dish against the edge. The merriment echoing from the formal room resembled cheers for compliance. Several months on, during my folks' milestone celebration meal, I covered the venue's upfront fee. Midway into sweets, my sister lifted her flute. To the ones who shaped our paths, and to those who truly count. The table erupted in chuckles, all but me. I slipped away, located the host, and voided the transaction. They kept raising cheers as the tab halted. Next arrived Summer's nuptials. A $10,000 hit showed on my plastic. Bridal event billing. When confronted, she chuckled. "You lack a spouse or little ones, Laura. Might as well contribute where you can. Contribute." That term splintered something profound. I'd devoted years mending gaps in their worlds, convincing myself it equaled affection. Yet affection that tallies scores isn't affection. It's toil. They deem it kin. I view it as a mechanism. Dawn arrived without freshness. It carried the weight of confirmation. My flat buzzed with stillness, the sort of hush signaling renewal. I steeped herbal brew and launched a fresh file. Heading, the register, each narrative they'd altered. Each invoice concealed beneath fondness. I cataloged them methodically. Invoices, captures, audio clips, payment icons with hearts. Documentation showing generosity morphed into transaction in our home. My socket liner rested neatly on the rack. Pristine white, spotless, tolerant, akin to a vow I granted myself. Many view toughness as flames. At times, it's the gentle snap of a fitting aligning true. As the sun rose, I drafted another inventory. 7 entrances, 7 barriers to secure. Contacts, safe, residence, loan, recurring drafts, enterprise, register. Every domain where my identity resided uninvited. I rinsed off. Streams pounding rhythmically against my back. It registered less as solace, more as directive. This wasn't about payback, it was about upkeep. Come midday, a message from Mom regarding the halted reservation. Sorted out, she typed, as if issuing commands from a site boss. I laid the device screen below. Hush holds sanctity when youth echoed with alerts. I savored plain bread that feigned no coziness. I wiped the surface as if sweeping away 10 years' debris. Next, I organized the register by hues. The machine heated, spitting sheets like weary testifiers. I bound batches, noted timings, highlighted sums, emphasized my label. I converted records to secured files, secured them via code. A table expanded with grids, entry, provider, debit, response, result. I inserted annotations and edges, not generosity, a sequence. The pointer pulsed like a timer, anchoring me firm. Emerald for reimbursements, crimson for breaches, silver for quiet. Noah dropped in bearing delivery fare and gentle gaze. He skipped probing for backstory. Simply noted, you appear unburdened. I'm adjusting settings, I replied, catching myself off guard. He grinned. That's my term for serenity. I strolled to the green space prior to dusk. Fallen foliage rasped over concrete like discarded bills pursued by breeze. I ceased tallying deficits. Instead, I tallied portals yet to seal. Returning, I output ledgers and tagged directories. Italy scam, celebration feast, nuptial burden, holiday placement. Each sheet a limit I ought to have etched earlier. I perforated evidence as if reconstructing framework. At the cooler, I affixed the outline. A citrus adhesive gripped 7 phrases. Contacts, safe, residence, loan, recurring drafts, enterprise, register. 7 portals, 7 safeguards, no additional duplicates. I programmed alerts for the initial barrier come dawn. I positioned my extension near the entry, prepared. Upkeep, not conflict. Accuracy, not fury. Dawn, the framework begins to falter. Prior to advancing, speak up. Post 1 if guilt has coerced excess offerings from you. Post 2 if uttering refusal brought fresh air. The initial barrier clicked on a midweek dawn. My cell hummed briefly, verification done. 5 entries, 5 identities, all tied to my profile. Mother, father, summer, her partner, myself. Kin arrangement, kin dominance. I refrained from termination. That would cast me as antagonist prematurely. I reassigned each connection to its proper holder. 72 hours to revise billing, else connection ceases. By week's midpoint, the lead faded. Mother's contact evaporated from the panel, followed by father's, then summer's. Each dimmed inactive like entry lamps yielding to gale. My messages swelled with bewilderment. Father, unable to reach, resolve this. Mother, signal dropping. Summer, what's happening? I offered no response. Transfer occurred, nothing further. Phase 2, the depository. For ages, I'd safeguarded all credentials. Finances, media streams, home loan, services, even Summer's shop access. Once I thought utility equaled endearment. Now I initiated primary override. The interface gleamed. Such step nullifies all connected units. Ideal, notices flooded promptly. Access denied, streaming halted, you're acting immature. No, I was claiming autonomy. Phase 3, the dwelling beyond their reach. The space with the upgraded terrace I'd bankrolled. Intelligent barriers, network, surveillance, climate control, all under my digital domain. That dawn, I selected halt access. The lenses went blank. The barriers reverted to physical. The climate showed unlinked. Not retaliation, adjustment. By midday, father messaged, this exceeds limits. Mother pursued, relations don't exclude relations, yet that's precisely their pattern. One deduction at a stretch. Phase 4, the home financing. I rang the institution. Sought excision as joint guarantor. The agent paused. Such move prompts reevaluation. I'm aware, I stated. View it as belated balancing. As twilight fell, borrowing costs soared. Power, hydration, scheduled outflows reassigned. Retail accounts signed off across gadgets. Screens blackened. Fixtures wavered. The modem pulsed faintly like a waning pulse. Elsewhere in the city, my kin faced displays defying orders. I pictured father prodding controls. Mother weeping before empty screen light. Summer demanding network as void grew encompassing. For once the clamor fell to my discretion to mute. The shared dialogue surged. Mother, why access blocked? Father, Laura, restore immediately. Summer. Is this for real? Utter madness. I silenced the chain. Hush remains the sole dialect they overlooked. That evening Noah arrived with rolls. He queried, tough stretch, reclamation stretch. I amended. He chuckled low. That's my Laura. Afterward I reclined in repose. Urban glows danced via slats like interference from their downfall. For the initial instance I sensed the potency of void. Not theirs. Mine. They deemed me interchangeable. Now they grasp I formed the foundation. The rap sounded after 3 days. Firm, staged, urgent, via the viewer, mother, father, summer, poised like specters awaiting cue lights. Noah glanced from seating, your decision. I unlatched but held position. The corridor glow rendered them ashen. Mother initiated, tone quivering on script. We arrived not for conflict, we seek amends. Summer chimed gently, we long for you, yet her stare revealed reality. Strategy, not sorrow, I stated clearly. You long for entry, not presence. The atmosphere thickened, dense as sodden stone. Mother's moisture trailed, rehearsed and known. Father fixed, crafting rebuttal. You've overstepped, Laura. Kinship demands cohesion. Cohesion always masked muting. He advanced. Let's mend, Laura. We're blood. You seek dominance. I countered, not mending. Mother's pitch broke. We failed to grasp the extent. What depth was required for visibility? Father sighed, reverting to directive cadence. You're penalizing us for care. No, I replied, I'm shielding from utility. Summer crossed limbs. This defies your nature. I nearly grinned. It embodies my core. You merely averted eyes. Quiet draped us slim and exacting. Sharp, uneasy, authentic. They attempted anew. Mother will reimburse. Father, message received. Summer, fresh beginning. I denied with gradual shake. This skips argument, I noted. It's judgment. Father creased brow, judgment. Indeed, I affirmed, you erected a framework, I dismantled it. He emitted one curt bark, thus reprisal, no reclamation. Summer's tone faltered. What's our path forward? I regarded the trio. Firm, reconstruct, I directed, or abstain, but not upon my frame. Mother extended, quaking. Begging Laura, I remained rooted. You forfeited no buffer, I murmured. You forfeited a child who at last selected self. The passage hushed. Even the lift halted mid-level. I permitted the calm to advocate. Then I sealed the portal. No bang, no resonance, merely panel aligning edge. Within, their tones melded into remote noise. Noah spared the void. He clasped my palm, digit stroking soothe. They'll adapt, he ventured. Perhaps I breathed, yet I shan't. I placed my cell downward. Alerts piled soundlessly. I cleansed palms, flow constant, inhalation constant. I returned the register to storage. Records merited repose, limits merited endurance. From beyond, steps faded, then vanished. The flat vibrated, compact and genuine. For the premiere occasion, the calm registered as merited. You forfeited no buffer. You forfeited a child who at last selected self. The opening 7 days passed hushed. Excessively hushed. No rings, no shaming notes, pure void. The variety that weighs prior to sanctity. I anticipated routine dispatches. We yearn, this deviates from you. Return, emptiness prevailed, thus I discerned. Connection never factored, entry did. I avoided peeking, avoided browsing. Avoided concern, my efforts turned inward finally. Each dawn, brew at dawn's early hour, device untouched pre-8, kin untouched pre-tranquility. I chronicled afresh, script rigid initially, then fluid. Certain days I lingered for crises, the Laura might you, the you grasp correct. Yet void softened progressively. Noah refrained from repair. He appeared, bearing meals, bearing hush, bearing room. On off days, we ambled lakeside. At times conversing, at times silent, either soothed. One eve I revisited the register, not for expansion or justification, solely to observe. Each record evoked relic from prior existence. Documentation evolved to ease. I red-idled the archive what affection lacks. Affection lacks obligation, lacks muting pedaled as harmony. Lacks you grasp each instance of extraction. Affection lacks stamina, it embodies security. Renewal bloomed ahead of schedule, that cycle. Atmosphere carried violet and damp stone scents. I ventured my extension for a jog. Even pulsing assured, that limb once symbolized deficit, now it signified motion. Upon bridge arrival I paused, not weariness but thanks. For serenity lacks volume, its respiration, its expanse. It's ultimately yours. Should this narrative stir you, kindly endorse, distribute, and follow. For additional accounts of limits, toughness, and subdued fortitude.